Crystallo is a single-player game about freeing the spirits of 6 animals and defeating the dragon which captured them through creating matching sets of gems in specific patterns around the orb-like seals which are keeping them sealed away. You must attempt to free the animals while keeping in mind that you have an upcoming battle with the evil black dragon, who you have to seal away so he doesn't attempt any more mischief. We recently received a review copy of Crystallo, and we played it quite a bit over the break while we were traveling. So why don't we jump in and talk about the 5 things we liked about the game, and the 1 thing we didn't. The first thing that we liked about the game is that it is a very elegantly simple game. During the first half of the game, all you're doing is drawing a card and placing that card, with one of the gems adjacent to one of those already placed. The goal here is to create patterns of 3 gems around the orbs, which will then unlock one of the gems on the animal spirit cards. The placement mechanics of the cards are the same in the second half of the game, but instead of drawing one at a time, you already have all of the cards in your hand. This brings us to the second thing that we liked about the game, which is that it is played in 2 stages that have different challenges, but use the same mechanics. The first stage is where you're freeing the animals, and the limiting factor is that you only draw 1 card, so you don't know what cards are coming up next and how many of which cards are left in the deck. The second stage, however, when you're actually fighting the black dragon, you know exactly what cards you have to use, but you have to figure out how you can place them in a way so that you can unlock all 6 colors of gems using that limited card supply, which is surprisingly challenging. The game of Crystallo is essentially a puzzle where you don't know all the pieces. You're trying to find a way to be most efficient in creating the patterns while keeping in mind what you've already drawn and the treasure sets that you want to complete. It's like a puzzle that you can play multiple times because the pieces are never really the same. Now the treasures, they are a very interesting double-edged sword. It's very tempting to focus on completing any and all treasures that you draw, but that leads to suboptimal moves, and depending on the set of treasures, you may be better served conserving cards for when you fight the dragon to have more available, rather than completing the treasures, which could give you more cards or remove some gems, but also might not be worth using that many cards. This is further complicated by the fact that you did remove 9 cards at the beginning of the game, and one of those could be the treasure that you're looking for, and so definitely something else to keep in mind. I really do love the artwork and production value in a lot of different games, and this game really does it very well. The artwork is great. I love the look of all of the different animals, the black dragon, the crystals are easy to read, easy to see, the gems all have the different colors and things like that. And the game is very tactile, so taking and placing the large gems, the fact that the game comes in or with a nice bag to keep it in, so you don't have to keep it in a box and all that. It's just a good overall production value and experience. But no game is perfect, and the biggest issue for me is the clarity of the placement rules. The rulebook says that you can place next to any card anywhere as long as one crystal is adjacent to another one. But this leaves some holes for interpretation. One of the biggest ones for me is whether or not you can cover up a crystal after it has been used to unlock an orb. Another question I had was about just how much of the card can be covered, and then also whether or not just adjusting the card, just a little bit of the angle, that kind of thing, just to be able to line it up perfectly because the cards move around a bit. Is that considered, moving the cards? Do I have to try to place around that? Or is it the kind of thing where it's supposed to fit on an invisible 3x2 grid that is on the card? It would be nice to actually see that grid, and I think that could also give some interesting gameplay implications if the orbs and the crystals weren't necessarily just in the four corners, but you could have one in the middle and something like that. So that would be one of the things that I would like to see. It would be a really interesting thing to be able to play with that and also have those rules clarified. That all being said, the game's a lot of fun. I don't often play single-player games, but it was great to have with me on my trip to Europe this winter, and I was really glad to be able to sit down and just relax and play this cool, replayable puzzle, in essence, a few times when I needed a moment to relax. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you enjoyed this look at Crystallo. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon to be notified whenever we post anything new. We've got some really cool videos coming up soon, and I'm just having a lot of fun with this, so I'm hoping that you are too. As always, I'd like to thank our Patreon patrons who make this YouTube channel, our Twitch stream, as well as our podcast possible. Thank you especially to our Greater Worm patrons, Casey, Carissa, Sam, and Hunter, for your continued support. We really do appreciate it, and it really does help us keep everything going. And for everyone else out there, thank you so much for watching, and remember, board games are part of a balanced diet.